Well, welcome back to the channel. My name's Big John, and today begins our journey on paying the man. We will start our dry fire today. Like I said before, you will get more out of dry fire than you ever will out of live fire. Dry fire ideally should be a minimum of 21 reps for each rep of live fire. So if you're going to shoot a box of ammunition at the range, 50 rounds, then you would need 1,000 rounds of dry fire. Again, this does not allow the recoil and concussion of the weapon going off to mask any errors that we're making. So, remembering one of the first things we talked about, 4 rules of firearm safety. All guns are treated as they're loaded. Don't let your muzzle cover anything you're not willing to destroy. Keep your finger off the trigger till you've made a conscious decision to fire. Be aware of your target, what's in front, what's behind. The first thing we're going to discuss, though, is eye dominance. Are you right eye dominant or are you left eye dominant? If you're right eye dominant, ideally you would shoot predominantly right-handed, and vice versa. If you're left eye dominant, predominantly left-handed. The easy way to do this is take your hand, make the OK symbol, put it over your right eye with both eyes open. Look at an object in the distance, center it, close your left eye. That object should remain between your thumb and the ring that your finger makes. If it jumped out, then you're left eye dominant. Along those lines, we also have to look at focus. Our eyes are not able to focus on 2 different distances at the same time. Just like a camera. If you're focusing a camera and you focus on a close object, the objects in the distance will be blurry and vice versa. Our eyes are the exact same way. Again, if you'll take your thumb and do the thumbs up, focus on your thumb, what is past the thumb will be blurry. If you look at something and focus past your thumb will be blurry. With sights, especially on pistol sights, or most pistol sights, you're actually having 3 planes of focus. The target, front sight, rear sight. Well, we just said you cannot focus on 3 different distances at the same time. So your world will revolve around your front sight. Target is blurry, rear sight's blurry, front sight crisp, sharp, and in focus. You do that, you get your hits. What we want to do to begin with is have perfect focus, perfect sight picture, perfect sight alignment. Now, sight alignment is the relationship of your front sight to your rear sight. You have a front sight that is a post. Your rear sight, most of the time, is a notch. You want the top of the front sight to be even with the top of the rear sight and equal light on both sides. That's your sight picture. Your sight alignment. Your sight picture is that sight alignment superimposed upon a target. In service rifle, we shoot with aperture rear sights and a front sight post. And the term they use is the pumpkin on the fence post. You put the top of the front sight just below your point of aim, point of impact. You want it to hit just at the top of your front sight. Every time you fire, each shot will give you 2 sight pictures. You'll have one sight picture, you'll go into recoil, come out of recoil, and then you will verify your sight picture again. So, 1 shot, 2 sight pictures. 2 shot, 3 sight pictures, and on. Your world revolves around your front sight. As we progress and we get better and become more comfortable and more proficient, you will be able to know what is an acceptable sight picture. May not be perfect, but at the distance you're engaging, it doesn't have to be perfect. You know that I will get good combat effective hits with this sight picture, which will increase your speed. Now, we're not getting sloppy, but we just realize we have a tolerance built in, plus or minus, that I can get good hits. Now, occasionally you're going to catch me looking at my watch because I can't see the timer on the phone right now. And I don't want to get too long. So if I'm glancing down or I'm glancing to the left or my left, that's where I got my notes. So hopefully I don't forget anything. Okay, so we've discussed eye dominance, focus, sight alignment, sight picture, and then the focus of the sights. Now we're going to build our stance. Our stance is very simple. Our stance is the same. It doesn't matter. Handgun, carbine, knife, hands on. It's the same stance. Now carbine will add additional stances, prone, kneeling, squat, rice paddy prones or squat, and deliberate offhand. But to start with, our stance is identical. It's an athletic stance. So what you're going to do, you're going to have your feet, and I realize you can't see my feet, but trust me, they're there. They're shoulder width apart. You're going to, if you're right-handed and you're shooting right-handed, you're going to take your left foot and you're going about half a step forward. So your left foot is about half a step forward of your right foot. You're going to bend at the knees. Now, you're not going to get into a squat. You're just going to unlock them, okay? Then your hands are up and you're going to pivot at the waist. Now, what you would do is, if you'll take your hands like this, put them in the creases of your hip, and just put your butt out just a little bit. Now, we're not talking anything drastic, just a little. Hands up, okay? So, our feet shoulder width apart. Left foot is slightly in front of our right foot if we're right-handed and shooting right-handed. We're pivoted at the hips. Our nose is over our toes. So our nose is forward of our toes. Hands up. This is your stance. This gives you the ability to move. It gives you the ability to deal with recoil and engaging multiple targets. Okay? So, going back, we're just standing up straight and we're coming to our stance. Okay? Like I said, it doesn't have to be very excessive. I can't think of the word I want to use. It needs just to be a little bit aggressive. You just want your weight a little bit forward. Okay. Now, we had talked about, treat all guns as if they're loaded. This is a cleared weapon. Magazine's empty. Now, I can look. I'm looking into the chamber, and I put my finger in there. If it's a low light condition, I can know that chamber is empty. And I'm going to look through the top, look straight down through the magazine well, and I know that this weapon is cleared. Now, we handle our weapons the same way each time. That way we only have to learn one movement, or a series of movements. We don't learn one for administrative and another for fighting. We do the same thing each time. So anytime you're going to run your slide, I'm going to give you two options for your slide. And this depends mainly on the size of your hands and the size of the pistol. Either come over the top like this, and you're going to rack it. Don't ride your slide forward. If you have less upper body strength and you have a difficult time racking a slide, if you will push with your firing hand and pull at the same time with your non-firing hand, it will help. So it's going to look like this. You're going to come over the top. That's going to let the slide go forward. Okay. Now, if you have a small, what I'm going to call a pocket pistol, but a smaller pistol, or you got hands like Andre the Giant, when you come over the top, you might actually cover your ejection port. And that's not good. If you've got a malfunction, you want that malfunction to be able to clear. So what I would recommend on that is what's called the slingshot method. Same principle, but instead of coming over the top, you're going to take your thumb like this, and you're going to slingshot. Now, what I recommend is come over. That way your ejection port is pointed to the ground. And that lets gravity help us. If we're like this and we're clearing a malfunction, there is the possibility it would fall right back down the injection port and continue to have a malfunction. So roll it over, same principle, racking or slide, okay? Now, our grip. We take our firing hand. This is what sometimes is referred to as the beaver tail on the stock of the handgun. Get as high up as possible. Now, you get too high, you come over the top, the slide is going to tear the top of your hand off. Or not tear it off, but it'll cut it. That is a self-correcting mistake. You won't do it but once. But you do want to get high on the pistol as you can. When the pistol recoils, the slide is going to go like this. Okay? So it can't go straight back because you've got your hand behind it. So it's going to pivot right here, like so. The higher you can get, the more you will control that. So you get high on the pistol, wrap your fingers around, your second knuckle roughly should be in line under the trigger guard. Notice I've got my finger at full extension, my trigger finger's at full extension. This is your firing grip. This thumb stays flagged. In other words, we're going to have it sticking straight up for right now. It will ride, if you have a thumb safety, it will ride the safety. You will take your non-firing hand, the meaty portion of your thumb, the drumstick, if you want to look at it that way. God has designed it that it fits beautifully right here. So you'll take your meaty part of your thumb, put it under your thumb, and your thumbs will go forward. Okay? The other thing is you'll wrap your fingers of your non-firing hand over the fingers of your firing hand. One thing to be cognizant of that will help. Again, we're trying to keep, recoil's going to happen. All we can do is mitigate it. We cannot, good Lord, I'm already at 13 minutes. We cannot stop it. So what we're going to do is, when this thumb goes forward, if you'll take your hand like this, lock these tendons right here, push with your thumb here. This can't ride. This can't move. Okay? That's going to help when it's on your handgun. You've got your firing grip. If you roll that thumb forward and you lock those tendons, that's also going to mitigate that muzzle flip, which will allow you to get faster follow-up shots. Okay, so we're 13 minutes, so I'm going to stop it. We're going to make this a two-part video, and we'll be back in just a second.